I'm going to be putting you guys on mute if I think that your background has a lot of noise in it. So you can always go to the chat box and let me know that you want to say something if I have you on mute. Mr. Laws, before I put everybody on mute, did you have a few things you wanted to say, or Dawn or Rebecca?
No, ma'am, I appreciate y'all. That's what I want to say.
Dawn, Rebecca, did you all want to say anything?
Nadira, I'd just like to say to bring us this far is such an accomplishment, and I appreciate all of your energy that you and Leslie and Al together have put into this process, and I hope that we as a clinical team can meet the mark in being successful at doing the entering of all of the documents that you need for us to be successful at the go live state.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Becca? I'm just grateful to have everybody on board and moving forward, and I thank you to our trainers in this process, Nadira. Leslie, I get really geeked out over treatment plans, so let's go.
Okay. All right.
Nadira, I have a question.
Who's that?
This is Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Are we supposed to be taking notes of the process, or will later on down the road we receive further direction?
So you all will get a very detailed procedure that's going to have step-by-step processes with screenshots and what do you do first, second, and third. It's not available today. So if you want to take some notes, kind of jog your memory from what you reviewed during the e-learning point videos, that would be helpful. But again, I'm also recording this session, and I will email that out to you all. So at your leisure, you can look at it again. But yep, just pay attention. It's basically my request.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to start with an overview for a client that we've already entered a DLA 20 assessment for and a treatment plan, and just show you how it works. So I'm going to start from logging in. So just so you all know, there's a couple of different MyEvolve environments that we'll have. Our production environment, if you see at the bottom here, production system, this is our live environment. This means that this has real clients in the system, and whatever we enter into production will stay there. It's kind of hard to delete things once they're in the production environment. Today, I will be demonstrating in our development system. I know this is development because my URL says development in here, and then it's telling me that it was copied today from production. So on the 15th, by the 15th, Leslie and I will give you all usernames and logins, and during the 15th training, you'll receive the procedure for how to complete the DLA 20 and the treatment plan, and you'll be logging into the development site to practice. And then once I'm comfortable that you've practiced and you're familiar with the steps, then we will release you to go into the production site to start entering in treatment plans. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so this is the main screen that everyone will enter. Your login is usually going to be your first initial and your last name. Leslie and I have generated passwords for you all, but we can also set it so that it forces you to change your password on your first login. More than likely, we're not going to require you to change your password on your first login, because as you are getting familiar with the system, Leslie and I might need to log in as you to see any issues or mitigate any challenges that might be present in the system. So just to give you an overview. When you all log into MyEvolve, this will be your home screen. It's not my home screen because I do a lot of other things in MyEvolve, but these are widgets, and these widgets, let me put people on mute. All right. These widgets are kind of like a dashboard to give you an at-a-glance look at what you have in MyEvolve. So there are some groups that I have access to. There are some notes that I have drafted that I can complete just by clicking on these hyperlinks. I have all of my clients who are referred to me here. I have a couple of reports that I have saved on my dashboard. So you all will have a dashboard that looks something like this. Of course, you won't have things like foster home or applicant, because that's a rather foster parent applicant. But you can customize your widgets to however you want to see it. So for instance, if you want to see your reports up top, you can just move that to be one of the first things that you see. So you'll have the flexibility to do all of this. An alert is just like in a message within the system. So I don't have any unread alerts. So that's why nothing's populating. But if somebody has sent me a message in my Evolve, it would also appear there. So I'm going to pause for a second and see if anybody has any questions about any of that.
I don't have any questions, Nadira.
Okay, cool. All right, so the very first thing that you all will be doing as clinicians when you log into the system is you'll be going to the client module and you'll be entering a DLA 20 for a client. The DLA 20 has domain scores that kind of help us identify what treatment goals and interventions will be best for the clients. So that's the very first step in the process. So there's a couple different ways that you can get to the client module. You can take this long-winded way of navigating through all of these screen sets, which will include in the procedure, or we can also save into your most recent and your favorites up here, the screen that you'll most visit or what's going to be your favorite as well. So I do have, I want to go to the client service assessment, so it's in my most visited ones. So I can go here and go to client service assessments. Now that I'm on this screen, I'm in the client module. I'm under case management, service management, and assessments. Now, in order for me to have anything populate, I need to choose a client. The client that I'm going to be reviewing with you all is Clean Client. So I'm going to type in his last name. I'm going to search for him. The system is going to pull back up 4 records. And this is looking crazy because I got the screen so big. So if you see at the bottom, the system identifies 4 people who have a last name of client. I'm choosing the Clean Client. That's the person whose file I want to update. Okay. And now I'm in his assessment section. So now I can see this person has a number of assessments that have been completed for him or her. And I can see the name of the assessment, the date that it was completed, how long it took to complete the assessment. If we put in a duration, I can see what staff person actually completed this event as well. So I'm really interested in the DLA 20. All right, I was trying to see if he was saying something to me, Leslie. All right, so I'm looking at the DLA 20, and this is another good thing that you can do when you're looking at assessments. You can sort it by alphabetical order by event if you like. You can sort it by the date. So this is giving me the most recent completed to the oldest completed. So just by clicking on this column, you can sort it by whatever fields you want to. So I want to look at the DLA 20, and I want to look at this one that was completed on 9/11 for this client. So I clicked on this button to open up the DLA 20, and this is like a at-a-glance look at what was completed for this client. So it's showing me what the results of that DLA 20 that I already completed for the client is, but if I open up the form, I can actually see the specific questions and the answers that I completed. I wonder why my answer is not completed. Okay, so this is for Clean Client. It was completed 9/11/12, and there's a question for each DLA 20. You'll notice that we labeled the DLA by number, and then also what the category is called. We've also included the exact same language that you all will find in Beacon Health. Beacon Health will ask these same questions, and you rate them. So just a simple going through the assessment, giving a rating for each one. DLA 20 is pretty simple to complete and should not take that long. These are some traumatic brain injury questions that's also a part of that DLA 20. And I'll just say 5 years old. and I save it. So now this is saved to this client's record. And now I can go to this area and see the results of some assessments that's been completed for the client. So we'll see all the ones that say instrument used is telling me what assessment was completed for this client. So if I look at the ones from 9/20, I'll look at 9/20. He's had a couple DLA 20s completed for him. 9/11 is the right one. So I see that for the 9/11 version of the DLA 20, he has some scores. So anything that's less than a 5, I think would require a goal. But definitely anything that's like a 2 or a 1 means that he has really impairments in that area. So this is just giving you an at-a-glance look at the results of his DLA 20 that was completed. I'm just showing you what it looks like after you complete the DLA 20, how you can look at the results of those. And I'm going to stop and see if anybody has any questions. No questions. Great. Okay. So after the DLA 20 is completed, the next thing that we want to do is create a treatment plan for this client. And again, we can also go to the treatment plan by most recent or most visited, or we can take the long route by navigating via the Evolve button to the client module. And maybe it's not working because it's too big. Or just scrolling down here to plan development. So here we see that there was a treatment plan created for Clean Client. It was started on October 1st. It was completed on October 1st. It took 45 minutes to complete. This treatment plan expires on December 31st. It's saved as a draft, and it has not been reviewed or approved by a supervisor yet. So this is how, when we initially do a treatment plan, it would look like. But I can submit it for approval, and then my supervisor or whoever I request reviews it can then approve it, and they'll be final. So if I open up Clean Client's treatment plan that I completed back in October, we'll see that on the first page we have some basic client information. So we have his name here, we see what program he is enrolled in, we see which office, whether it's Edmondson or Cecil or PG County. We see some basic demographics for him as well. So we see a personal information demographics that give us his gender, his social security number, date of birth and age, his eye color. So all the information that we currently have in the system for him appears here. We currently don't have any ethnicity or religion details. We don't have any details about language or citizenship, and that's why those are blank. The next sub-report shows us more demographics, so it's pretty much a repeat of what's up here. This is really for contact information. So apparently we don't have an evening telephone number, a day telephone number, or a mobile number for him, but we do have an address. And we also have diagnosis for him. So we can see that he has attention deficit disorder, 314 is the ICD-9, F90 is the ICD-10. His diagnosis was established on January 4th, 2016. Leslie and I are still working on this sub-report so that it no longer has this ICD-9 or this GAS score or this NOMED, but it instead includes who is the therapist that gave his client's diagnosis. I'm going to X you out, Olu. I don't want to see you.
Indira, I can't see the screen anymore. I can just see Olu.
Okay, Olu, I need you to can you all see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we need Olu is up. We need him to not share his video because it's making your presentation smaller. There you go.
Okay. I hope I didn't lose him. All right. So that's just the client information. It's giving you basic demographics about the client. This next tab is very important, and it's important to complete when you're starting a treatment plan and then to come back when you're finishing the treatment plan. So basically, I entered a date that I started the treatment plan and the time, and I entered a date that I completed the treatment plan and the time, and I also entered a duration of how long it took me to complete this treatment plan. There's also an expiration date, so that this treatment plan expires December 31st, which means there needs to be another treatment plan on or around December 31st for this client. What we see here is a billing authorization sub-report, and this is showing us when the client was authorized for PRP services. So we should be able to filter this by dates like we were the domains. So really the second one should be the most recent one because we're currently in this time period. And again, this is over a year long, and we know authorizations are only 6 years, 6 months. So this is just a demonstration. Don't critique this process. All right, next we go on to clinical disposition, and clinical disposition will give us, again, some problems that the client has. So we are noting that this client suffers from anxiety, he has depressive issues, and stress management deficits. There has not been any strengths of this client entered into the system, so that's why this is not showing anything. Again, this is the diagnosis sub-report again. So the clinical disposition just gives us more clinical information about this client. Then next we move on to the presenting needs and issues. And so this is what generally starts most of the treatment plans. On this presenting needs issues, we also have problems coming in as a sub-report. So we're able to add a summary of the client's presenting needs and issues. So I understand that you all customize this per client, and that's not really like stock language that you all use to describe the client's presenting needs. So I only did claim client is a ... So that's why all that appears. The next is the rehabilitation expectations. So we do have a standard paragraph for how we describe rehabilitation expectations. And what Leslie and I have done is we created some text templates that gives you this language. And all you would really need to do is customize it. So everything that's in red will be changed to the client's name or individualized. Everything that stays in blue would not be touched. So we pretty much just gave you the paragraph that you'll just customize all the red part. And when we do a second client, I'll show you how to customize it. But for this purpose, I didn't. I just wanted to show you what the text template looked like. Now we're going on to the treatment plan. And so for the treatment plan, I have a goal that was selected. And when I selected the goal, I was able to customize it. So we see clean client instead of just client. Name was customized. I also entered the target date of when I want this goal to be completed. And there's sub-reports that come in from that DLA 20. So now we see that this was the most recent DLA 20 that was completed for the client. This was completed on February 3rd, 2017. The overall score for that DLA 20 was a 3.81. And we're looking at what are the most important issues to create a goal and intervention for the client. So we see that these all have scores of 2, when 2 means like severely impaired. So in the category of housing stability and maintenance, managing time, and managing money and finances, those are where we should really identify goals for him. This is giving me all the rest of his DLA 20 results. But again, the system pulled in what the most important ones were from the most recent one. So we wouldn't need one for social networks because he has a 7 in that area, and the same for community resources and leisure because he has a 6 in those areas. So he's functioning independently or somewhat independently in those areas. But the ones for a 1 and 2s would probably be needed. But this is just giving you an overview of his whole DLA 20 results. But this main sub-report is really trying to tell you which ones to prioritize for a goal. So I chose this goal. Client will increase overall competency and develop appropriate knowledge, skills, blah, blah, blah. And I also have an intervention that goes along with that. And the same on the intervention level. You'll be able to see the DLA 20 scores and domains and understand what the interpretation is for that. So these are the same sub-reports as on that goal level. And you can add as many goals and interventions as you want. I think our standard is to have 3 to 5 goals and interventions per client. So I'm just giving you an overview, and then I'll show you how it works.
Actually, it's more than that, but I'll give you some more of that later. Yeah.
Okay. Next is the service collaboration section for the client. And this section is, again, there's a text template. We have some stock language for how we write our service collaboration narrative. This is important, especially when we're getting reauthorizations for clients. They really want to see that we've been in communication with them, with therapists, and when's the last time we spoke to the therapist, what their credentials are, you know, any information shared. So I haven't customized this for this client. I just pulled it in. But we also have sub-reports that shows us service collaboration. So for this particular client, he had an entitlement assessment that was completed in September. He also had a somatic health assessment that was completed in September. So this is showing us the most recent service collaboration that's completed and how. I see Dawn has a question. Yes, ma'am.
With the service collaboration section, this would be where Malika would enter any of her ongoing conversations with therapists, along with any of the other clinicians who talk to therapists directly, correct?
I'm not familiar with a process where Malika does treatment plans or a section of an IRP, so I don't know about that. But what I can show you is that down the bottom here is a therapy compliance sub-report. So this will be what Malika or DSWs or FSMs are completing about therapy
That's
collaboration.
what I thought you were talking about. Okay,
yep.
Gotcha.
But my thought is that the clinician writes this narrative and not Malika.
Yeah, that's just the one we're talking about now is the one that we enter on the actual treatment plan.
Okay.
Okay, I'm following you.
Okay. So after we get the service collaboration, next there is a transition and discharge section. And so this is really allowing us to add an anticipated discharge date if we know it or we can estimate it. This is the standard text template for the transition discharge. So again, everything that we see in red can be customized or has to be customized for the client. We don't want red to show up in the final treatment plan. Since I'm showing you one that's already completed, you can't see, but this is a sub-form that would allow us to identify a referral that we need to make for the client. So if we've identified that the client does not have a primary care physician, or the client needs a psychiatrist for medication management, we can actually enter that in the sub-form, and I'll show it to you when I actually enter a client. Then there's a space for us to have signatures. So we recently ordered this Topaz signature device that we can take out into the field with us, but we're also hoping that our mobile environment would allow us to capture client or parent signatures via our smartphones and tablets. So we're hoping that we can reduce the likelihood that we have to have printed IRPs that are out in the community and coming back as hard copies. Instead, we want to be able to directly link signatures to the treatment plan and to go straight to MyEvolve. So Brittany said that we always have service collaboration on the concurrent treatment plans. Is a service collaboration requirement on the initial plan moving forward? No. So you can skip the service collaboration section, but what I want you all to understand is that even though this is saying it's an initial plan, you all are really entering concurrent treatment plans for clients, right? So these are clients who've been in service for a while and are up for reauthorization or are currently being served by beta testers. So when you all enter treatment plans, you will not be skipping the service collaboration for this round. Now, as we enroll new clients in after we go live, you could skip the service collaboration section. I hope I answered that question.
Okay. Nadira,
yes,
two points. And this came up from Dawn's question. Is there isn't there a way for us to have a sub-report under the clinical disposition that if there is information, and we haven't really talked about that, if there's information that's being communicated about this client that's, you know, relevant to their treatment or their planning, that sub-report could show up so that they would have that information as part of their development of the plan.
Is there something in addition to the problems or the strengths that a client might have?
Yeah, like right in the beginning, I'm thinking for clinical disposition, like, and we can talk about it, that if there's some information, critical information that person, they should already know, but just as a reminder, like if we had a way for that information to come up in a sub-report, that would be great.
I'm not clear what you're talking about specifically. My thought is that the presenting needs and issues would be the narrative that the clinician writes about the client's presenting needs and issues.
No, I'm talking about ongoing. I'm talking about ongoing things. So I'm thinking more like, let's say something happened during the orientation that stood out, that, you know, or after the orientation happened and something came to light, or on the, you know, while the person's doing concurrent, that there was information that came up that we wanted to make sure was part of the plan. We'll talk more about it. I'm just trying to give you an idea of my thought that came. I think that would be very important and valuable. The second thing I wanted to make sure, if you go back to the gold area, I wanted to make sure everybody knows that, you know, you just continually kind of click and add golds as you go along, but you usually do gold intervention. But notice when you'll be, she didn't show you this yet, but she will when she does the thing. When she selects the goal, you will also have to define and customize the goal statement. Like and I know she's going to emphasize it, but I want to emphasize it too, that goal statement is the place where we individualize the goal, still using that same basic wording, but it's going to be individualized to that particular client, so that anybody who looks at it can see, yes, that's a similar part of their goal selections, but they made sure that that person's name and their particular need related to that goal is indicated in the goal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know why things froze up on me. Still been submitted for approval. Okay. Once a treatment plan is submitted for approval, the person who initially completed a treatment plan is not able to edit and change anything, but the supervisor can make some changes to it. So I submitted it to myself, so I have to just go into my supervisor module and approve it, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to move on to another client. But real quickly, so the last step in the treatment planning flow is the contact note that DSWs complete. So for this client, Clean Client, he's enrolled in 3 different programs. We're really just concerned about his PRP enrollments now. We see that there are a number of SDN off-sites and some on-sites that were completed for him. The DLA-20 that was completed appears here. The plan development also appears here. So the DSWs, the FSMs, the clinical writers will be spending a lot of time in this screen, this service entry screen. And I'll show you how to complete a contact note when I go to my next scenario. I'm just going to show you quickly what it looks like. So at the very top, you put in the date and time and how long the visit was. There's a way that we could select an activity for the client and then rate it. So we can give it a client rating. You know, the client will say, I did okay, or average, or good, or great. A clinician will say what kind of impairment level it was, and I'll demonstrate that. There are some other sub-reports that appear on this contact note. So again, we get this authorization sub-report, so we can see that the client is currently authorized for services. We have their benefit assignment, which is really like their entitlement or their medical assistance provider number. So since this client is enrolled in both our therapy program and PRP, we see the same number repeated, but it's different value options numbers and different start dates. We see the client's diagnosis being pulled in, And because I have completed a treatment plan for the client, the DSW can now see the goal and intervention that is on that client's treatment plan. So this client currently has this goal with this intervention, and then this goal with this intervention. So they only have 2 goals and 2 interventions, but the DSW can see it clearly. And then there should be a way for the client, the DSW to, I don't know why it's not working. We'll fix this. There's a way, this treatment link is designed for you to pick one goal and one intervention that the DSW worked on. I'll get back to that in a second. All right, so I'm going to switch over to another client, and I'm going to show you from the very beginning how we do this. So I'm going to choose Big Picture Client. So Clean Client, which is a demonstration, and Big Picture is my main man. All right. So he's in TWC and active therapy compliance. He doesn't have any DLA. So I'm going to complete a DLA 20 for him now. So I'm in the assessment area again. I'm going to go to new manual event. You all won't have as many options when you go to new manual event and assessments as I do. I have access to everything that's foster care, substance abuse, or whatever, but you'll only have like 4 or 5 of them that are relevant to PRP. So you'll just find the DLA 20, select that. You'll enter a date, and again, just enter answers to questions. And I'm not really thinking about it, I'm just entering a few of them. All of these are required, and if you try to save this document and close out of it and you don't answer a question, the system will say, hey, you forgot to answer number 21 or number 22, so you'll know exactly why. At the very bottom, we will select what program this is for and what office is located for. So this is Edmondson, not Cecil or PG County. And I could write a note if I wanted to. This is an example of a text template, right? So text templates are ways that we can get to stock language for a client. So if I had one that said DLA 20, I could write that, but I don't. But just so that you can see how it works, let me choose this one. So this is a standard service statement for client for contact notes, and we can customize it. We can change the color to black instead of red. We can make some parts of it highlighted so it stands out. We can add bullet points. I don't know why the bullet points is not working. We can add a date and time stamp. So it's dating, so the system knows that Nadira is logged in. This is my job title, and I'm logged in at February 6th at 3:41 p.m. So I just time and date stamped it, my note. So this is me completing the DLA 20 for a client. And we should see that it now appears under assessments as a completed DLA 20. So we see this here. And this is just showing me that there's a progress note on file for this client. But if I open this up, it'll tell me what the domain scores are. I would rather look at the domain scores this way. And I would want to sort it by lowest to highest. So this one's not relevant to the DLA. That was something else I did for this client. But I see that he is extremely severe functional impairment in leisure and productivity, also in his emotional health practices, sexuality. But then we get down to things like his social network or his managing money and finances, and he's pretty good. This is a strength, and he has a mild impairment. Okay. All right, so that's basically it. I did a DLA 20, and then I can look at the results of my DLA 20, and I could do all of that before I actually start the treatment plan. Everybody still following me? Yes?
Yes, I'm following you, Nadira.
Okay. So now I'm going to go enter a treatment plan for this client. This big screen is kind of So this is what it looks like when I'm going to go enter a treatment plan for this client. Because he's enrolled in both TWC and PRP, he can have a plan in either program. The plan can be totally separate, different goals, different interventions, but I'm doing it for PRP. So I'm going to go to Start New Plan. And again, I'm getting the very first screen. So the very first screen is giving me client information, and this wants me to choose which office this is for. I don't know why that is showing up. We're going to change that. I can type in a description if I wanted to, sample, current IRP for big picture. Again, I see all the sub-reports again, his personal information, his address. This client has bipolar disorder. Then I'm going to go to completed information. So I'm going to say that I'm starting this treatment plan right now. Say I started it at 3:30 p.m. I'm not going to put in a date completed or duration yet because I want to come back and do that as the last step before I sign it and submit it. I can look at his clinical disposition. So this client currently doesn't have any problems noted in his plan. So to Al's point, Leslie, if you could make a note of this, I'm thinking that this clinical disposition page needs to have a sub-form and a sub-report for problems and strengths so that a clinician can actually add a problem if it's not already in the system for the client and add a strength. And it will populate in other parts of the system besides just the treatment plan. So I think they need to be able to see what's already in the system and then also be able to add as needed. Okay, so now I'm going into the presenting needs issue, and I'm going to write a statement. I'm going to say big picture is an 18-year-old male who suffers from bipolar disorder. He lives with his grandmother and little sister in East Baltimore. He has a history of substance use and fighting in school, blah, blah, blah. I get the point, right? Leslie said, okay, she got me. Okay. So now I'm going to go to his rehab expectations. And so again, this is the rehab expectations, and I need to get to his text template, right? So I'm going to click on this Insert Template button. I'm going to choose Rehab Expectations, and wow, a whole sentence comes up for me to customize. This is really going to take the most time as you all do the treatment plan. It's really customizing this. Big picture. Big picture client will be able to successfully, I'm going to say,
Can you make that bigger? That it's not such a small box.
Leslie?
Because it came up bigger when you showed the other part. Can you make it so you can see more of the paragraph? Because that feels weird.
I'll work on it.
All right.
So the client will work with, support, or attend school, live in the community with support. I'm just going to erase the language once I see it. Should be able to enjoy an active social life. Practice his faith. And manage his illness. And say big picture.
Can't you wait to the, I mean, they can wait to the end once they edit it, and then they can change everything the same color at that point, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Don't want to get in trouble and upset grandma anymore. I don't know what word I just erased. His diagnosis. And big picture. And like Al said, I can wait to the very end and change everything to black. And everything's black, and then I can just read over it, make sure that I didn't miss anything. Yep. So that's the rehab expectation statement. Now I'm going to go down to his goal level, and I'm going to say, you know what? So this part is going to be removed. You're not going to see the desired outcome box. Leslie's going to take that off. But the first thing you'll do is choose a goal. Now, in order for these domains reports to populate, we have to save this treatment plan. It's telling me a duration field is required. All right, so it's saved as a draft. I can open it back up and edit it. I really want to, and Leslie, this is the issue I was having earlier. The system wants you to choose a goal first, and then you can click on that box, which is problematic. I'm going to say he needs a goal in the daily living skills area. Now we're going to change these categories, so these categories will say DLA 2 or all the DLA 20 categories, but initially we did it based on our 7 range of services for PRP programs. So until we change it over, it's going to look like that. So I was able to select a goal in this area, and now I can customize that goal for this client. So big picture will. So this is showing me what the standard library language for this goal is, but I can customize it as much as I want to. So I'm going to say concerning time management, to release the daily time requirements, sleep. I'm going to say instead of dates, I'm going to say getting to school on time. And I'm going to take away this ETC. This is a way that we can have like some really good goals and interventions for clients, but it's not dependent on, it can be customized as well. So now what I want to do is I want to click on this button so that I can see these domain scores. Yes, sir.
Hey, Dara, we go back to that, please. This is very important. So, of course, I mean, we're entering all these goals and interventions. So the concept is that the goals can be customized, but the interventions are going to remain the same because interventions are interventions. So actually at the end of that goal that she just had up, you can actually make a one-sentence statement that is specific to that client and how that client's issues are related to that goal. So for instance, if you go back, Nadira, to the treatment plan, so in here, you could make a sentence that said, say, big picture client. What goal is this for? This is for
daily living skills.
Yeah, daily. Big picture client. Will. Let me see. Will big picture client will cooperate with his grandmother in cleaning his room daily, something like that. So that becomes more specific, even though this goal is a general DLA 20 related goal. It's telling you about what you're going to do in general for that client, but you can give a specific thing related to that client for that goal. But when you get to the intervention, you're not going to do anything more to the intervention. The goal is a place that you are going to customize, and you don't have to go. I mean, I'm thinking that we can learn how to write one sentence 2 at the most, but 1 sentence that can do that customization. And then their name will be interjected in different places, which he did at the top. So that's it.
I can put a target date of when I want this goal to be accomplished. So I'm going to say I want this by April 1st. I want him to achieve this goal by April 1st. I'm going to click on this button because I want these domain sub-reports to populate. And the system's saying, are you sure you want the most recent domain scores to populate? Yes, I'm sure. I said I was sure. Oh, Leslie.
Looks like it's reloading.
This is another place that will delay your process sometimes, is saving a treatment plan. There's a lot of different tiers and forms connected to it, so it's a lot of updates the system has to do. There we go. Ugh. I don't know why it still has not populated. Y'all saw me put in a DLA 20 for this client, and I don't know why it's not working. But we're going to fix it. All right, I can, I don't know why you can't see the sub-reports that you saw on Clean Client, but I'm going to keep on going. I can give, as a clinician, I can give the client a rating on this goal that I just added, and I'm going to say he has moderate impairment. This table is used for clients and clinicians, so that's why you might see it twice, but we're going to separate it out so that clinician and staff has a table that's different from the client. So you won't see 2 1s or 2 2s when you finally are entering treatment plans. You'll just see 1 through 7 for you all.
Let me also say that the rating, the initial rating, is not arbitrary. You should be rating that client consistent with the DLA 20 rating that you come up with. That's why we're showing that sub-report that's not coming up right now. And unless you have made a decision in developing the plan that you think is different than what you rated in the DLA 20. So there should be a pretty straightforward correlation between what you assessed in DLA 20, or what was assessed in the DLA 20, and what was given there. And if you put something different, then you should note why you think it's different. I think there's a place that you can note that as well on the plan. Is there a note there, Nadira?
A note. This is what?
Is there a note after that? Is there a note possible if you change the rating, like in the treatment plan itself? Is there a note, a place to do a note?
There's several places to do notes. Yep. So now that the sub-report is populating, the system wanted me to save and close out of it and then open it back up in order for us to see that. And yeah, it does that with the contact notes also.
Can we make sure that we make a note of that? Because is that something that will be required once we get our custom treatment plan? And I'm also wondering whether that's something that Ron can help us not go through all those steps to do that. So Leslie, if you could write.
Yeah, I don't think it's a way that we can get around it, but yep, Leslie's taking notes. So now we see all the sub-reports populate, and now I'm going to go to an intervention. So now I'm going to choose an intervention. So the system is showing me only the interventions that's connected to that daily living goal that I selected. So I'm in the same category. So you can see that I don't see anything that says education or promotion of individual wellness. I only can get to daily living skills interventions because I chose a daily living skill goal. Does that make sense? So Al is saying that there's no need for you all to customize interventions, which I did not know before today, because I would not have kept this like this.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The names, the name part was customized. So I meant that they didn't have to add additional information to it. They do have to customize the name. They do have to change the name.
Okay.
Yes. So they are, I'm sorry, they are customizing it by, they actually personalize it by making sure the name is in there.
Okay. So everybody just saw what I did. I clicked on the intervention. It gives me a whole library of interventions connected to that goal category that I was in, and then I was able to edit that intervention to personalize it for the client. Now I can also see the sub-report again down here, and I can choose a target date. So I can say again that I want this intervention to be completed the same as when the goal was completed. So I'm going to choose April the 1st. And the system also is going to want me to add a clinician rating, which, Leslie, I think the clinician rating should go up above these sub-reports. It should probably go up here before the target date. So if you can move that clinician rating up on the screen, on the form, okay. I should appreciate it. Since I'm doing like an initial treatment plan for the client, and I'm going to let the DSW explore what methods or activities will be best for the client, I'm not going to actually enter a method or activity. So I'm going to delete this level, but I can add a second goal and intervention as well for this client. Question from Dawn. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Nadira, so I think you just partially answered my question, but as we went through how the DLA 20 fits in here, I was just wondering the other goal areas that have to be addressed, like you just said, vocational, educational, other areas like that. We'll pull that from somewhere else.
So this first goal and intervention was about daily living skills, right? So now I want to add another goal and intervention that's related to another area. So when I'm here at this intervention level, like this is all a parent. This is like a parent and child, so it all works together. So since I'm on the intervention level, it only allows me to add a second intervention that goes along with that goal or add a method. If I want to add a goal, I should go back up to this goal level, and now I can see this add goal level. So now I have a whole nother tier when I add goal, and a whole nother goal intervention method tier. So now let's say that I want to choose a goal that is in promotion of individual wellness, which is about like therapy compliance stuff.
Okay.
So again, and also let me just let you know this. If you see at the very bottom, there are 57,783 goals available in our My Evolve system. And that's because we've connected to the Wiley Treatment Planner. So this is pulling in some goals and interventions that's our evidence-based practice according to JOGSMA. I don't know if you all are familiar with that during social work school. But a fast way to get to our specific goals and interventions is to enter the category. Right, so you can put in like DLA2, if you know that's the, I don't think I have any goals in DLA2. But I know that I have goals in category 1, promotion of individual wellness. I also know that I have a goal in like health promotion. So you all can just put in like a letter or identifier to pull in the category, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
If they just type DLA, if they just type DLA, all the things related to that are going to come up, right?
Well, Ron hasn't copied over from my PRP categories to the DLA quite yet.
Once categories are connected to the DLA categories, if they type in DLA, all the DLA categories are going to come up.
Exactly. Yep. So this is pretty much going to be switched. So under categories, you'll see DLA2. So what Al's saying is that instead of you putting in 2 I's like I did to pull up daily living skills, you'll type in DLA and then search. And then all the goals that are DLA will pull up. But it's just not available in the system quite yet. So let's say that I want to choose, let me choose the social skills. Let me choose one we haven't done already, social skills. Support client with activities and experiences that require communicating concerns, questions, and needs responsibly or verbally.
That's an intervention.
You said that was an intervention.
Yeah, that was an intervention.
So again, big picture, I can write another one to two customized sentences, blah, blah, blah. I can say my target date again is April 1st. I want to see the latest domains, which is crazy why this is working like this. So on this level, I can see them. But now when I get down here, even clicking the box is not working. So ridiculous. All right, so I just added another goal, and I'm going to add another intervention. So again, since I chose social skills, only the social skills interventions are pulling up for me. So I'm going to say something about family strengthening. Teach and practice relevant family strengthening communication skills with big picture client in order to empower big picture with understanding, expressing, and an awareness of various communication dynamics. Again, I'm going to say this is a target date of April the 1st. This is really irritating me. I'm going to delete this methods level. But if I did not want, like if you want to do a concurrent treatment plan and you want to add an actual method, there's no methods in the system quite yet. It's not really linking, so there's nothing that you can really do with that. You can always type whatever you want, but it's not linked to any goal or intervention.
I mean, ours is supposed to just say activities. And you don't have to delete that, right?
Nope, you don't have to.
Okay.
But this is really designed to work like this. Let's say, for instance, I want this client to also have TWC or therapy services, and I can say I want them to have individual therapy. I want them to have 2 sessions, 45 minutes each, and I want this to happen on a monthly basis. And I can choose somebody else that's going to be responsible for making this happen. So I'm going to choose Leslie instead of me. So this is a way that we as clinicians can collaborate with our other WIN programs. So maybe it's foster care. Maybe this client is in PRP and our foster care program, and we want their FSC to do a school visit, or we need a birth family visit, or they need a family meeting. This is a way that we can choose additional services that will complement this treatment plan in this area. So the sessions is different than the method or activity. So when you see it, this will be called activity, but it's not really linking to the goal of intervention quite yet. So that's why we kind of skipped that part. Does that make sense? I don't want to confuse anybody.
Well, it's going to be hard to make total sense, but the idea that you're giving is correct. That that's why I chose for us to have that as one of our tiers, to have that activity level at the treatment planning level, because then they can have other activities that they can specify and collaborate with other team members or other programs. Most of the direct service activities with the clients are going to come from the DSWs, so we have a whole library for them to choose from in order to link those activities to the goals and interventions that are selected.
All right, so I just added 2 goals and 2 interventions. I can add some more interventions to this goal if I wanted to. So this is still under daily living, and you see what it did? It gave me a whole nother tier for interventions because they don't know if I want to add activities as well. So even though this client already has one intervention about family strengthening and communication skills, I can add a second intervention that goes along with that goal as well. So I'm going to say nonverbal communication affect is another intervention that goes with social skills. So big picture. Maybe I had the numlock, I don't know why I deleted my words as I was typing it. And this is really frustrating me, Leslie. I don't know if you guys noticing this, but every level, these sub-reports are not populating, and they should. All right, so now I'm going to move. So you all get the idea of how to add goals and interventions to the treatment plan, right?
Yes.
Any questions about adding goals and interventions at all?
No?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So now I'm in the service collaboration section, and again, I'm going to choose a service collaboration text template, and I'm going to pull in a statement, and I'm going to say it's telling me what to do. So I'm going to include, I'm going to say on February, I don't know why it's erasing my stuff. On February 1st at 1 p.m., this writer spoke to therapist ABC, LCSW, see, include the credentials, and who confirmed the client is active in biweekly individual therapy. Something like that. I know you all have something that's more clinically sound and competent. That's basically the idea. This client did not have any service collaboration on his file, so there was no entitlement update, no somatic health update. So that's why this sub-report is not populating. But he did have some therapy compliance updates. So there was one that was completed on August the 9th. So the thing to understand about this therapy compliance is that all of these lines are for one therapy compliance that were all done on August the 29th. And what you'll see is that we were not able to make it so that each question is a column going across, because that way we could just have one line. But instead we had to make each question its own separate line. And you'll see what the answers were for these. So there's only really an answer that yes, the client is currently in therapy, but we did not retype what the client's therapist's name and credentials were. We did not add a date they last saw the client. So this would be like a teaching moment for the DSW or whoever completed this to make sure that you complete all answers. But we can make them required so they can't leave the screen without completing it. All right, so that's service collaboration. Then I'm going to go to transition discharge. So I'm going to say that I hope that we can discharge this client by the end of this year. And I'm going to make my transition discharge statement. So again, I can customize all of this stuff. Leslie, why is the stuff? Maybe it's my numlock.
My recommendation will be when we. My recommendation would be for the team that I would keep the color the same as the changes you're making, so you can clearly see your changes. And then at the end, once you're finished and you proofread it, I would turn it all black that way. So that's just I mean, you don't have to do it that way, but I'm thinking that might be a good way to do it.
Leslie, you see how it's erasing my words? Press insert key or it will overwrite. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, Dawn, before you ask your question, oh, on my keyboard. Got it. All right, yes, ma'am, Dawn, I'm ready for you.
Okay, I think this question is more directed to Al. So with the therapy compliance document that she was just showing us, it was great with the questions and all. Is your thought that that will take the place of what DSWs are required to write on a note at a particular time to keep us updated on therapy compliance?
I mean, Nadir can answer that question. I mean, basically, we have something that they should fill out every month. I think we set it up to be. I forget what the timing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Nadir?
Yep, I understand. Yep. So we're you know, the contact note grids are going to go away. The actual contact notes of Microsoft Word being emails are going to go away. We're going to make it a monthly requirement that DSWs complete a therapy compliance update. And that therapy compliance update also qualifies them for their incentive for the month. So DSWs will complete their notes. They'll do something that we're going to call a monthly invoice. And as part of that monthly invoice, they also have to note that they completed a therapy compliance. And if they haven't, they won't get the incentive for the month. So yes, all of that.
So is that different than the therapy compliance document that you just showed us?
No, it will be this document.
Okay,
it will be
that's what I wanted.
the document that shows this outcome. It's, yep, on a monthly basis, every DSW.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bipolar disorder, has developed the necessary skills to manage the effects of, all right, I'm not going to complete all of this stuff. Let's say its next IRP is due April 1st, 2017. I don't know what Tracy was talking about, multitasking and stuff. I hope she's okay. All right, so now I'm going to go to plan development. I'm going to say the actual date and time is now. I'm going to say 4:15 p.m. is when I'm finishing it. It took me about 45 minutes. I'm going to say again, this is the PRP program. What facility? This is the Edmondson Avenue facility. You know, I think you all are also missing, there is a progress statement. So you all do like a progress towards the reduction of psychiatric, I don't know, some long statement that you write about progress, in addition to service collaboration and transition. Am I right about that? Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Describe that again, Nadira.
You also have like a progress statement that you all write as part of the treatment plan?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're talking about the update on the client's progress.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So in an ideal world, it would be available as a text template here. It's just not right now. But you should see something that says psych rehab progress, and yeah, it'll have some standard language for you. So now I can preview my plan. This is what the plan will look like if I printed it out. So if I printed it out, it will show the client's information. It'll take me through all of this stuff I completed over here. So this is what it looks like.
Slow down a little bit, Nadir. Start from the top.
Very nice.
So at the very top, it's telling me the name of the IRP, who the client is, the date of birth, the gender of the client. This ID number is important to MyEvolve. It's not really that important to us, but this is not a medical assistance number. This is not a value option number. It's just some generic number that MyEvolve makes us put in. I'm also able to see the date the client was enrolled, or the intake date for this program. Then I'm seeing all the client information, so all this stuff is here. I'm also seeing the data that was in those sub-reports that was on that client information form. So remember, there was address and phone numbers all on that form. Now I'm moving on to the completed information. So that's this tier. It's showing me the date that I started it and the date that I completed it. And it took me about 45 minutes. I have not entered an expiration date, and I have not submitted it for approval to anyone. So if I wanted to see what holes I have in my treatment plan before I finalize it, I can do that. It's also showing me the authorizations. It's clarifying that I don't have any problems with shrimps on file for this client. It's showing me diagnosis again. Now I'm on to their presenting needs and issues. So I'm seeing a summary of their presenting needs. So this is the statement that I wrote about big picture at this level. Then I'm looking at the rehab expectations. So that is the text template that I customized for this client. It's showing up here. Now it's going to take me down to the treatment plan area. So again, this desired outcome, Leslie, is going away. And it'll just be the goal and goal statement. So we see what the generic goal was that I pulled in from the library. Then we see how I customized it with big picture, and I added the extra sentence. We see that there's a target date for when this goal should be accomplished. It was me who established it because I'm logged into the system and I'm completing this plan for this client. And I don't know why the sub-reports are not showing. This is showing me the intervention, and it's showing me how I personalize the intervention with big picture. Again, the target date for that. I don't know why these things are not showing up. So yeah, it's taking me through all the goals and interventions I completed for the client, showing me what my clinician rating was, giving me a status of it's established. It could be pending. It could be completed. So when we do concurrent treatment plans or the second treatment plan for a client, we can either drop some of these goals or interventions or keep them and add some more to it. I did add a methods to one level. So I assigned this client to have individual therapy, and Leslie's responsible on a monthly basis, 2 of them. Now it's taking me to the service collaboration section. So I see that therapist ABC is who I spoke to on the 1st at 1 p.m. Maybe I should have said at and not and. Again, there was no entitlement or somatic health updates, but there was some therapy compliance information here. I see my transition date is the end of this year. I see my transition statement, which I failed to customize. I did not give this client a referral to any other program or service, so there's nothing here. And the client and the advocate is really the parent signature. They have not signed on my Topaz or on my smartphone. I haven't taken this out to them to get them to sign it, but if I did, you would see their signature here. And then this is showing me the plan development details. So Nadira Smith did this for PRP for Edmondson Avenue, and that is a preview of the treatment plan. So I can save this, and I can submit it as well.
Can I just also, while you're doing that, just say that they have several stock reports in this system, but we really found that that's probably one of the weaker components of this software, because they used to have a way that you could customize them, but they stopped supporting the software that used to allow you to customize them. So it kind of left us kind of stuck with, what they have. So we are also kind of in a parallel process of looking at another custom treatment planning software to work in conjunction with the system. So we will be able at some point to really, even improve the kind of reporting that we have coming out of the system. And it's going to help us with our ability to do different types of charts and graphs, and really getting into the analytics side of seeing, the data related to the things we're doing with the clients.
Mm-hmm. Did you want me to show them a treatment plan report? Or you're saying they're all weak?
No, you can show it to them. I mean, that's fine.
So this is a reports module, and I'm going to put in a date range. So I'm going to say I want to see all the treatment plans that's in the system from this time frame. I'm going to choose how I want the report to be ordered. So I want to see the program first and then the client. I can also filter it, so I can choose a specific client. So I can say just only show me clean client. And I can also say just only show me the program for PRP. I don't want to see TWC reports. I don't want to see DYRS. I just want to see PRP. and then I can preview it. And I can save this report on my widget so I can get back to it whenever I want to. So I don't have to always remember exactly how I did it. So this is showing me that this is a client treatment plans report. It's ordered or is organized by program first and then client. So I see the program first, PRP, then I see client big picture, and I see clean client. And I can see the date that I completed a treatment plan and time and who it was that completed it. It's also showing me a status of it. So these are not final. These are drafted. It has not been reviewed by my supervisor. So it's a total of 2 PRP treatment plans in the system currently. So this is just giving me a review of what's in the system. There's another report that gives me plan goals. And this was not working for me last week. And probably it's not going to work today, but I'll try. All right, I want to be able to see client plan goals by client, then tell me what category. I don't care about the program, just show me by category and event category goal. Nope. All right. So I can't show it to you. The plan goals are not going to work. All right. So let me just go to the contact note for this client. So after I finish a treatment plan, now I'm a DSW. And DSW is being trained by Nadira and Leslie on Saturday, February 25th about how to enter their treatment plan. They're going to log into the system. They're going to be right here. So they're going to say, I'm going to enter in an off-site note. I took this client with some other clients. I'm entering an off-site note. And so today, February 6th at, I could say 2 p.m., my visit was for 60 minutes or an hour. Again, we have some custom work that was done to help us with some of this stuff, and it's just like so tricky how we complete it, how these sub-reports populate. We're going to get it right by the 15th, though. Still not showing. That's okay.
While she's doing that, I did want to say, Nadira, I know you don't have time for that today, but I know that there's going to be a separate training that helps Rebecca and Jen and Brittany, for them to see and understand how their life is going to be so much easier and going to change as relates to how they're able to access and approve notes, and how that once they do that, it goes over the billing. So we have a whole section that we can't get to today because this is the treatment planning part. I wanted to ask you, do you have a separate training for them around that, Nadira?
For contact review?
Yes, contact.
Yep. I don't have a date yet.
Okay.
Probably gonna need a March date. But yep, that's definitely on my agenda.
Okay. All right.
All right, so I'm a DSW. I put in the date and time that I'm seeing this client. I'm going to choose what activity I did with the client. So I'm going to say on this day, I helped the client plan for successful therapy participation. And I'm going to ask my client, how do you think you did on that visit? And the client might say, I did great. And I might say, well, I kind of disagree. I think you did like moderately severe impairment, but I wouldn't say great, so I'm going to give you a 3. So the client gave himself a 5. I gave himself a 3. I don't know why this duration field is here or why this outcome is here.
Actually, it would be, the rating would be their functioning, what level of functioning we believe they displayed during that particular activity. So not so much how they did, but how they function, how we believe their functioning really is rated from that 1 to 5.
I can see the goals and interventions that I added for this client. So if you all remember, I added 3 goals, right? So for daily living, I had one goal, and this is the intervention that's connected to that goal. For social skills, there was another goal in the intervention, and I had a second goal for social skills connected to that as well. So you all are able to see what goal and intervention I chose was part of the treatment plan. Now this is not working right now for some reason. Leslie, you see this? You see this treatment context is not working?
Yeah, I got it, but I thought we wasn't using that.
Yeah, we have to pull in a specific goal and intervention. So out of those three, which one, out of these three goals, which one did you work on this day? So the DSW need to be able to select one of them via the treatment context. All right, so now I'm going to write my service statement. So the system knows that it's me. I'm logged in. I'm going to click on this note ellipses, and I'm going to click on a text template, and I'm going to say my standard service statement. So this is, again, giving me a guide for how to write my statement. So I'm going to say supported, big picture, with improving social skills by addressing preparation for therapy appointments, related to, I don't know, DLA 20, client attended therapy independently and processed thoughts and feelings about school, blah, blah, blah. I can erase that one, and I can change the color for this one. And I can add my date stamp to it. Okay, and then I can go back up to this level and I can send it to somebody. So I can choose a specific clinical writer. So I could say, you know what, I want Jen to be the one, well, she's my clinical writer. I'm on her team, and so she should be the one who receives this when I complete it. So I'm going to save it, and it's going to go to Jen. So real quick, I can just show you all because we got 31 minutes and I'm kind of finished my whole review. Jen would be clicking on her supervisor module. And within her supervisor module, she'll have access to all the people that she supervised and then the people that they supervise as well. So this is my supervisor module. I got all these people that I'm supervising or I'm testing as supervising. And I could choose any of them and I could see stuff that they have for me to approve. So Leslie has completed some contact notes in the system, and I haven't approved them. Now I can approve them. I can open up the contact note, and I can say, you know what, Leslie only wrote test 925. I'm not approving that. She need to write something else. So I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to reject it. I'm going to say unsubmit, and I'm going to write her note, complete the narrative. So Leslie, when she logs to the system, is going to get an alert, one of these unread alerts over here. It's going to come from Nadira, and it's going to say complete the narrative because she didn't complete the narrative. I can also go to one of them and say, let me see about this one. Well, she was all, I mean, these are all test ones, so she don't really have any real notes. And I can approve this one. Or I can just go through and approve all of them if I've already did a spot check on them. So yeah, this is pretty much how the contact note reviews happen. I can get more details about it. So she must have did this on an older form because it's not showing me anything. These are not good examples to show you all. Still not a good example. But anyway, this is the supervisor module that allows you to see everything that someone has submitted to you to review and approve. No, that's not a good example either. Another thing that I can do in the supervisor module is I can add tasks to people that I supervise. So I can say, I want Leslie to complete a DLA 20 for a client. So I can go to her calendar directly in the supervisor module once the computer starts freezing up on me. It's probably saying, hey, Dara, you overworking us today. And I can say, you know what, I want Leslie on next Monday. I want her to complete a DLA 20, and I want her to do it for a client named Test. Come on, computer. I'm going to say, I want you to do for Test client. Ugh, why is things freaking out for me? I'm trying to find the PRP program for this client Test.
I mean, I think it's clear that you can assign things to people from the calendar. What I'm interested, do you have that do you have the thing that shows when the clinical note writers when they can review, how the review part would look, like how they can just pull up the note and you can see everything right in front of them?
I was trying to show it to you. I don't really understand your question, because
you know how we work with the this is, I guess it's part of the invoice piece, the DSW invoice. I think this was it connected to the invoice. No, this is the part where we were looking at how they could review a note and whether the sub report would show them the note, and then there's a report that they can go to that shows the notes that they can review as well. It was two ways that they could review the note. Leslie, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, it's on the PR monthly summary.
So this is going to be retitled as a monthly invoice, and what this is showing is that it's for a client named Raimondo. I think Raimondo is the DSW. He completed 2 off-sites and 1 on-site for this client this month, and then he did his invoice. So it's showing me all the dates that he did, so I know that he has entered all his notes before the 25th of the month. And I see that he is eligible for the maximum incentive. This is not final, so it's kind of hard to show something to you.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for the notes related to this.
It's that first sub-report they did.
What does he want, Leslie? This? Is this what he wants? Is this what you're looking for, Al?
Yes, that will be their notes. Their notes would be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just scroll back now so they can see. Yeah, there you go. So they would have on here that it's an off-site. You know the date, you know the time and everything, and then their note would actually populate into that area, whatever note they wrote. Jen and Brittany, you see that?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you guys would be screaming at the top of your lungs, like.
No, I'm super excited.
Yeah, this is very, very nice. I cannot wait.
Yeah, so all your stuff is right there. You're not searching around, looking through emails, you have their information right there, and you can approve it right from that place. Like once you review it, and there's another report, and you guys, I don't know whether you remember, Leslie, which one it was, but there's another report in the report section where you can go through and look at the same information. What's that report that has what visits were done and the notes that they did for it?
Client services or service entries.
Yeah. Just show that report real quick.
Are we able to edit the notes ourselves, or can we only approve or reject them?
Well, that's what we're dealing with now. It's based on how it's routed to you.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had this conversation today to determine so the people who are going to be, that you are going to be writers for, you'll be able to edit the notes.
Okay.
The people who are doing their own notes, you will have to make whatever comment or whatever and send it back to them. I think you can make it. I think they said you can make a correction, but they have to go back and sign off on it, on that correction.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So
this is a client services report just showing you all the services that's been entered. I just put in a generic time frame, so about 4 months or so, and it's pulling in all the clients who've had anything entered during that time frame. So I see this PRP program, and I see this client had we was testing something out. And then these are some contact notes and DLA 20. I can also limit it and say only show me the SDN offsite, or only show me the SDN onsite, so I won't see this DLA 20 or therapy compliance for this client. This is just a services report to show you what has been done, what's the date, and who is it that did it. It's a client services report. There's also a client, a service entries report that allows you to see what was actually entered for a client. Let's see, which one do I want? Let me do it this way so I can see it by DSW. Okay, so this is showing me client, Ramondo, his client. He did 2 visits in April. It's giving me a summary of it.
Hit the hyperlink on one of those.
What, the client name or the date?
No, the date, yeah. I wanted to do it on a note because I think we saw the monthly summary. That just takes us back to the monthly. Hit one on the other one. SDN offsite, yeah. So, because we were just testing this, that would have all that information related to that note and what that DSW put in that note. So that's pretty cool. That's one of the nice things that they did have. Unfortunately, they stopped that. We only can keep what we have. We can't create anything else. So.
This is a progress note entry, so I can, this is another way that I can pull a report to see all the clients in this time frame that got a note. So I see for the big picture, there was a DLA 20. That's what the note looks like for him. I can go down to another client. This is the clean client. He had a treatment plan, and I did enter a progress note when I completed him. But this client has an individual therapy appointment. This is a real therapist, a real client, and this is her DAP note that she completed for this client. So this will be useful for you all as clinical writers, just to be able to pull in a report for a month and see all the people. And you can always filter it also, so you can say, let me just see by author of the note. So I only want to see Leslie or whatever DSW is on your team. These are just the notes that she completed. I guess the last thing I want to show you all is that, let me show you the therapy compliance stuff. So this is what the therapy compliance form looks like. So anybody can do this in the system, but we're requiring that DSW does it in the system. You all saw the answers to it, but this is how you actually complete it. Everything that's mandatory is bolded, so you got to put in the date and time, and you just click the boxes and add a date. When was the last date that you saw the client? This is showing me who is currently in the system as this client's therapist. So we got Andrea Foxworth. This really should say whatever therapy program she's associated with. If it had changed and I want to say she's no longer the therapist, it's therapist ABC, LCSWC, whatever. I can make any comments about challenges, no challenges at this time. Client have any challenges at DSW we need to support the client with? Nope. The client independently gets to therapy appointments. I can skip whatever is not relevant or I don't have anything to add to it, but this is showing me what the last time I did this, what those answers were. And now when I enter another therapy report, I should be able to see the answers from that first one. See, Leslie, so now we see the 2-6. I just did that. So I just answered no challenges. I just answered therapy is ABC. You all see the difference? It was the old one. This is the one I just did. But it's all on this therapy compliance form.
Nadira,
Yes,
are all the therapy compliance responses from every month going to be in that sub-report?
Yes.
So we can't limit it to the previous one?
There probably is a script that Ron could give Leslie to put on this event, this form, that would limit it.
Yeah, I think we need to limit that. That could get confusing, and that report's going to get so long and hard to discern, or somebody's going to pick up the wrong information from something. I think that we should definitely make it limited to the most recent one.
Well, I kind of disagree with you. I think that we should do like the last 3 months.
Why?
Because the client, 3 months of therapy compliance is a better picture than just the last month. So the client might have just had a bad month, like went out of town, or it's his birthday, or the death of a parent, or whatever, and so they weren't consistent with therapy. But the month prior to that, they attended all 4 sessions. So I just think 3 months is a better picture than the last month.
They wouldn't fill it out if they, you're saying they fill it out even if they miss therapy in a month? Because that's not, is that what you're saying?
Yes, because if they miss therapy, the answer will be no. And the last date that you saw a therapist.
No, the question is the client still in therapy? Just because they miss therapy doesn't mean they're not in therapy. Okay,
so you want the last month? We can make it the last month.
Well, we can talk about it some more. I want to hear some more about what you're thinking about it. But just put it as a note for us to talk about.
Okay. Let me show you something else. The service collaboration. So again, these are sub-reports that's pulling in information, and this is really just for you to write a note about who you talk to. And I don't think this is finished, and I don't know why that's spelled wrong. So I need to revisit that one. Let me go to the entitlement assessment because I think that's done. On somatic health. Where is my entitlement and my somatic health? So this is just a simple entitlement. What entitlements do you have? Write a description of that entitlement. What do you want? Is there a goal that should be written to help with this entitlement? Basically save it. So that's basically the entitlement assessment. We're going to plan another training to go through all these things with you all. This is not finished. I'm just showing you drafts right now.
Will that entitlement information show up on the treatment planning process too?
Yep, it'll be on the service collaboration tier.
Right. Okay.
As well as this somatic health assessment. So this is pulling in diagnosis, any medications the client is on, what his or her current health practitioner is. We can add the date of the last physical. We can write any concerns. Then we got some standard questions that we answer about. You know, these are questions that we find in Beacon Health. I visited a doctor recently. I do self-administer. I don't have side effects, blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty much our draft of somatic health assessment. So I think I'm done. I think I'm done showing you all the treatment planning flow, and I hope I haven't confused you by adding additional things I was showing you all. But I think we've accomplished the goal of demonstrating the process. I think right now we need to talk about next steps. So my thought is that all of you have had a chance to look at the 10 e-learning point modules. Do we all know what that is?
I've looked at, I think, all but one, Nadira.
Okay. I see that.
And we have at PRP, we've also scheduled, the group decided that we were going to do some of the training on the e-learning modules together. I believe those are scheduled. I don't have those dates in front of me. IO coordinated with us all to determine if we wanted to do some individually and some together. And so all of that's going to be happening this month.
So I understand that those are the staff meetings on Tuesdays starting tomorrow, and I have a written assessment that kind of reinforces a lot of what is covered in the modules. I have some like written assessments and some interactive scenarios. My thought was that Rebecca said that it's best for clinicians to watch the videos independently, and it's kind of hard for you all to get together on Tuesday afternoons. So I thought that you were all doing it separately.
Just to clarify, there's only so many seats available in the PRP conference room. So I thought that since we're, one of the larger teams, that we would be able to view them on our own time.
Okay. So what's the progress with that?
Well, Danielle has viewed all of the modules, and then the rest of us, I believe, are just getting started.
We're just getting started. Okay. Because I have these, there's assessment that I can send you. So I would want to send it to Rebecca and Dawn, and then you all get it to all the other clinicians. But for each module, I have like a number of written assessment questions, and you all are cheating if you're looking at the answers right now, because I'm going to make them disappear. So there's a number of questions that go with each module. Then there's an interactive practice. So I would you would be logging into the training site as Bugs Bunny, and then you would be finding this referral and answering these questions. So I'm almost finished the third module. I can give you all the first module. It's definitely required. Everybody that's on this call right now really need to finish all of these modules by February 14th. The day before we have another training. I really need you all to be familiar with the terminology and how to navigate in the system. I want to say that Brittany and Jennifer are real close to being my next EHR change agent champions, because they have really helped us entering in clients into the system and updating them, working with Tracy a while back, quality assurance manager. But I can't say that I'm confident anybody else is familiar with my Evolve. I don't know if that was strength-based or not.
Okay, so the initial deadline, I believe, that we were given was February 28th, so I'll just send an email out to the team to make sure everyone's aware of the February 14th deadline.
February 28th.
I believe so.
Had until the end of the month to review the modules, but we do have training tomorrow and on the 14th to review modules. That's for those who come in and do it as a group. But yeah, we gave everyone to the end of the February to have them completed.
Okay.
How could it be? Wait a minute. How could it be at the end if I thought you guys want to start putting in treatment plans once you got trained on the 15th?
Those are the deadlines we discussed. I just went on that. I did know that the 2 trainings were over the 14th, but I can't guarantee that everybody's going to be ready by the 14th. It's just those people who come in to those trainings. Some people have other things scheduled during that time. I just remember we talked, and we said by the end of February we wanted everyone that had the modules. I did not structure it with entering anything.
Okay, so we may just have to restructure it because the plan was to try to begin putting in things in the at the minimum the people who are going to put in the beta testers. The beta testers have to be in by the end of the month. The beta testing clients have to be in by the end of the month. And then, but hopefully we got these extra people on for the purpose of them being both helping us with the backlog and possibly also helping with these with the treatment plans after that process. So if they, if they're available, they could learn and try to get that process to happen as well. Because we got to the middle of March, we had till the middle of March to have all of the treatment plans in.
Right, exactly. So we may have to talk offline to really talk about dates, but the last time we were together, I think it was at a substance abuse meeting, I'm not sure. I thought the deadlines had got pushed back a little bit anyway, because I think, I don't know, you and Nadira were still working on a treatment plan piece. We do have the beta testers coming on Saturday, but I don't know that is to review. Nadira, you can confirm. I don't know if that's to review their client information. I thought it was that to go over the modules as well, because all of this was contingent on the contact note backlog, which I'm still waiting. Rebecca's going to update me with where we are on a projected date based on the new writers that we have in place. But those new writers, I mean, probably about 4 of them have just got in place, probably just signed a contract, may not even have started writing as of yet. So, yeah, my last deadline, I forgot what it was, Rebecca, what the first date was.
Well, let me
I forgot what our first date was.
Well, let me restate it again. We did move the date back, but that was back to where it is now, which was that we said that we wanted to have all the beta testers, clients, treatment plans done by the end of February, because they start doing their beta testing in the beginning of March, because they're doing it for that month. They're helping us work out the bugs that's going on.
So let me just make sure you understand what that means. So we're saying that effective March 1st, the beta testers will be doing their contact notes, their March contact notes in MyEvolve. And they can only do that if their treatment plans are already in the system for their clients.
Right, I understand that. So how many are we talking about? That's my question. And then I know you just reviewed with us, but I thought you were going to specifically do something more specific with them around treatment planning. I thought that's what we said at our last meeting, which I thought wasn't until February 15th or February something.
So there's 118 total clients that are served by beta testers. And you're correct, February 15th. By February 15th, you all will have usernames and passwords. You'll have a clear step-by-step procedure of everything that I went over today. And on the 15th, we will all be logging into the development site and practicing doing these treatment plans. Yes. So my goal was...
All right. Go ahead. You said your goal was...
No, I'll yield.
What was your goal?
That data entry or treatment plan start on the 16th, the next day after the training.
All right. Now, I know that's what we initially said, and then we went back. But, Rebecca, I mean, I guess it's in your court if you could give me a projected date based on the new people that you have starting. For contact notes, just give me a realistic time frame for entering those contact notes, because then the next assignment, which we already knew, is for them to begin entering treatment plans.
Actually, what we decided was the treatment plans were going to be done with the folks that are most familiar with our clients and our treatment planning process first.
So everyone that's on this video conference, right?
Exactly. That's what we said we were planning to do. That's the only thing that made sense initially, rather than trying to take somebody who don't even know anything about our treatment plan process and try to translate our treatment plan that's been done into, you know, this place. Now, as we move forward and those people get trained, they could be the ones that could help with, you know, new clients that are coming in and doing new treatment plans. So that because we don't want to get behind, we want to keep up as we're going forward.
Okay, so actually I do think I remember something like that. So Al, you're saying that perhaps the people that she has now who are doing contact notes could continue that process even past February 15th, while the clinical writers who are more, who've been working with us for a while would start the treatment plan entry.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Does that make sense, Rebecca?
Yes, it does.
So those are Dawn, Rebecca, Jen, Brittany, Olu, right? There's just 5 of you?
And Danielle, I believe.
And Danielle. So if there's 118 clients and we divide that by 6, I'm trying to figure out how many treatment plans per person you all are going to be doing. So you all are doing about 20 treatment plans each. Let's estimate that it takes about an hour to enter a DLA-20 and treatment plan. So each of you all are dedicating 20 hours between February 16th and the 25th to enter these treatment plans. Does that make sense?
Give me those dates again, Nadira.
Between February 16th and February 25th, you all are each of you are going to enter 20 treatment plans.
What?
I'm recommending. I don't want to prescribe it, so you all tell me.
Why are you saying 25th?
The 25th is the date that we're training the DSWs, right?
Yeah, but they have until the end of the month. They have until the end of February. Yeah, you're training them. You can use examples for that, but they don't have to have all of their clients in when you're training them. And we never said the 25th. We said the end of February. And it's a short month, so they need every day they can get.
So that is going to require some real strategic planning because reauthorizations are due in that time frame. With the new DLA-20 in the beacon system in that time frame as well. So I'm just mentioning that because we are going to have to be strategic about it.
Right, but you remember when I had the meeting with you guys, that meeting where me and Nadira were going back and forth about the dynamic and what was necessary. That's what I was trying to share, that all these things were going to kind of come together. Of course, part of the outcome of that was to try to get more people on board, and then coming up with a plan to be able to coordinate that. And I'm also saying, I'm going to also say this, because I think it's important, like, since, I mean, I don't know yet. I'll have to wait until I see what Rebecca comes up with. But if it's a situation where we're talking about looking at backlog that's from last year, and comparing that to whether we get treatment plans in the system so we can go live, I'm going to choose the current stuff more than I'm going to be focused on that for now. We can come back. So I'm just giving you my sense of it.
Yeah, sure. And my thought process is, in saying that we're going to have to be strategic, I'm saying that from a solutions-focused standpoint versus the challenge. The other piece that has become apparent after participating in the DLA training and asking some very specific questions. So, for example, those folks that I entered the end of January for the February 1st reauthorization period, those adults, on top of the reauthorizations that we normally have on our list for the month of February, now those adults, and it was quite a few of them, it was probably well over half our list, we have to re-enter them again because they're only going to give them 30 days of authorization. And so basically the way they have the system set up is we have to go back and reauthorize them in 30 days.
You're saying the ones that you just reauthorized in January, you have to reauthorize them at the end of February too?
Correct. So I thought that they would just have a tab that we would just go in and put the DLA 20 in for those clients that we just reauthorized.
So it was about 38 of them? It was 38 that was due for reauthorization in January? Is that the right number?
I think it was more than that, including all 3 regions. But I'm just saying we have to be strategic about it. So the clinical team will get together and figure all of that out.
Yeah, that is unfortunate that they didn't make it a more straightforward way for us once you go around the second time, that they made it. I mean, that's a state. What else can you say?
Yeah.
So I think that I sent you, Rebecca, and Dawn this roster of all the clients that are served by the beta testers. And I probably sent it to you to give me help for identifying who that active therapist is, but I think Malika is helping with that. But it's a easy way for you all to see these 118 clients that I'm referring to, and then maybe we can identify which ones have reauthorization dates for February and then prioritize them. But I don't want to micromanage how you all delegate, who's doing what. I just want to train you on EHR and make sure you got it.
Okay. Sounds good, Nadira.
Okay, so I should be seeing something, an email from Donna Rebecca about the plan for the beta testers, data entry.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, just to let IOL and Don know, I did send that report on the contact note and breaking down the workflow to suggest how long it's going to take and what our next steps could be.
Thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
All right. Any last questions, comments, concerns?
I had one more question.
Mm-hmm.
When you were going through the use of the DLA 20 and, you know, all the different questions that reflected on different problem areas. And at the end of that, you stated that we would probably end up with about 3 goals or more as a result of what we discover from the use of the DLA-20. So with all the additional areas we have to cover that are not in the DLA-20, like again, I'm going to use the educational vocational piece. I'm just wondering.
Education and vocation is under productivity, by the way, and it's definitely going to be more than 3 goals. So that's why I told her that's not. I didn't want y'all to get locked into 3 to 5 goals because that's not what it's going to be.
How many goals is it going to be, Al?
I'm still looking at it. I'll give you that once I give the final assessment.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I don't have any.
All right, so I will email you all the recording from today. Brittany, I miss your face. I can't wait to see you soon.
I know, I missed you so much.
All right, good people. Thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.